Hello everybody. So I'm going to be giving myself a try to the baby dragon in the egg. So I tried this yesterday on my own without filming it just to see, and I wouldn't say it was a disaster. I did get the dragon in the egg and I did get it demolded, and there is a dragon in an egg, but it did not turn out that great. So I had problems. I think probably like most people do when they're trying this. So while I was looking at it after I demolded it, and I realized that my problem came from getting the dragon to stand upright in the egg, and so I came up with an idea, and so I'm going to give it another try, and this time I'm going to bring you guys along with me to see how it works, okay? So I've mixed up resin. It's just barely been sitting here. I'm using Better Boat epoxy resin right now, and this resin dries beautifully clear, almost like glass. It does a great job. However, it has a very short work time, okay, especially when I pour it deep like this. Yeah, I've got to work kind of quickly. So I'm going to let that sit, and I'm going to do some mica powders in here for my baby dragon. And let's see, is this my only paintbrush I got? That one this might be a little too big. Got this tiny one and that one. So anyway, I'm going to start kind of working on the head here and seeing how I can get this going. I've done this over again. Okay, as you can see, giving it kind of a good pat, and maybe just blowing the excess mica powder out actually does a pretty good job. So I'm going to stop right there, get on my mica powders put back together. I do tend to like blow all around in the air. So those were just different ones from Let's Resin. If you want all the individual colors, I can post those. Just let me know. Otherwise, I will probably just post that they were various colors from Let's Resin. So, and as I was watching my videos the other day, I noticed that the foil that I was using for kind of quick cleanup and things under my workstation was really loud and actually pretty annoying. So I decided to change this up a bit so that that isn't so distracting. Okay, so anyway, my resin is still pretty nice and cool, so I'm going to pour some in here, not too much. But I do want my little dragon to start, maybe a little more. I want him to start working on getting cured so that when it's time to stick them in my egg, that will work out okay. So I'm going to use black background for this, and I'm going to use my Black Velvet Indian ink, a couple drops. I do like having black behind some of these brighter colors, makes them kind of pop, and then that way also, if I didn't get mica powder covering everything, then at least I'll have a dark background and you won't really be able to tell. It won't be see-through, so I'm trying to say. And this India ink is very dark and very black, and it dries or cures very, very shiny, and it makes just kind of a nice go-to black for me. I don't really use pigment paste often. I usually use the liquid inks, whether it's the alcohol inks or the India inks or just the translucent, you know. Yeah, I just feel like they're easier to blend. So Doesn't have to be perfect for this one. Over here. Sticks. I'll probably still use that one. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pour. These little cut in half disposable water bottles work really well because you can actually squeeze them to make it kind of pour the taste that you want it to. I'm going to pour kind of slow because I'm hoping that I don't really get bubbles in this. There's some that are going to rise to the top just because there was bubbles in my resin, but that's okay. Okay, so the next part that I want to, when I'm going to start to work on the egg, I can't really do it this soon because the egg I think will cure up far before my little baby dragon. So I'm going to have to wait a little bit. I'm going to let this cure, move it over to my curing cart over here, and then I will be back when it's time to do the next step. Okay, everyone, I'm back, and our little baby dragon it's getting there. It's almost cured, but not completely. I don't think it's time to take it out yet. When I pull the sides, the top is smooth and touchable, but when I pull the sides, it still stretches out with it. So it's not quite ready, but it's getting closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my egg. And here's my idea. I really am hoping that it works. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol, spray it in here, because I don't have a pressure pot, so any little bit to help with the bubbles on the sides would be great here. So not too much, just a couple sprays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour what I've got left in this container that I was working with, and it's about, well, I don't know, a little over 1 ounce. Okay, there's about 1 ounce in here. So I'm going to pour it in the egg, and I'm going to go ahead and put it all, this whole ounce in there. And what my idea is, let's see if it works, but there's got to be an easier way to do these dragon eggs, right? So see if maybe this is brilliant and maybe it's going to be a disaster. We'll see. So anyway, here's my idea. My idea was, oops, I see bubbles. That wasn't my idea. Hold on. Okay, well, there's still a few bubbles in there, but that's okay. I'm going to let it come up to the top a little bit more before I try blowing it out. Or actually, maybe I'll just do a little, see if that gets it. Oh, yep, that got it. Okay, anyway, so what I'm going to do is I thought what would happen if we turned these over on its side, and I brought some things to kind of help prop it up. It's got these little stands on the bottom, you know, so you can stand it straight up, and I can see the resin is, I don't know if you can see that, probably not, but it's coming right to the edge, and I think I'm gonna let it come right, yeah, right to that edge is where I'm gonna let it go. So what I need is something to prop this up about maybe 1 inch. Let's see if this little bowl will work. Actually, yeah, that little bowl works just great. I don't even probably need those there, but I'm gonna put them there anyway just to kind of make sure that it stays put, and maybe to help it kind of keep its round shape. It doesn't seem like it's misshapen from doing it like this, but my idea is if I can let this cure, this 1 ounce of resin cure in there, at least mostly, okay, still maybe a little sticky, but firm. Then I put my baby dragon in there where it's gonna lay flat in the middle, and then I will stick it in there and maybe push it down to where I want it. And my hope is that then I can stand it up and the dragon will stick already to this side here. And then when I stand it up and put the rest of the resin in, that it hopefully will be in the center, and so much easier than the way I tried it the other day, which was standing the egg up, trying to get my dragon in there just at the right time, blah, 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 and it was a mess. I'll show you what it looked like if anybody wants to see it. I mean, I got it out, and there is an egg, but I had problems. So anyway, that is my idea. So, I am going to let this cure. I am working with that Better Boat, and it doesn't have a real long work time, okay, before it starts setting up. So I'm going to check it, gosh, probably maybe in about 20 minutes, and see what it's like then. And then maybe in another, or maybe every half hour, okay? And then I'll let you know how it's going. All right, wish us luck. Bye. Okay, everybody, I'm back to demold our baby dragon. He's completely cured, and so I've decided I'm going to demold him and then work on gluing him together so that it has time to set before we do our next part with the egg. Okay, I've mixed up more resin and I'm kind of letting it set for a few minutes so that when we are ready for do the next part with the egg, that will be ready. Oh, that's cute. Turned out cute. See, the mica powders, they all turned out pretty well. I like the colors that we chose. Cute. And we tried to do, I tried to do the same colors on both halves, at least pretty close, so that when I bring them together, hopefully it will look normal, like he's one guy. So let's see. Yeah, looks pretty good. Let's see. What do you think about the colors? Pretty, huh? I meant to put a little green in there, and I think I got carried away with all the other colors, but he's still really pretty. So if we put him together, let's see, he will fit. Should fit just right. Yeah. Is your little face lined up there? There we go. Yeah. Okay, so when he's glued together here, I don't think I caught him in time to just squeeze them together and let the resin cure all the way with him together. That would have been the best case scenario. But anyway, if I do have to glue them, that's okay. I'll use Loctite, which is like super glue, so it works pretty quickly. Anyway, here he is. And so I am going to work on getting him put together, okay? And then I'll be back. I've got my resin mixed up for the egg, so I've got some bubbles in there right now, so I'm going to let it set for a little bit longer, and I'm going to take care of him, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back to work some more on the dragon egg. And one of the things is that I remember now why I kind of switched from using Better Boat. It used to be my go-to resin for the first probably year and a half that I have done epoxy resin. But I switched to Diamond Clarity because this is a problem. The tiny, teeny, tiny bubbles in there, if you can see it. Might help a little. I don't know if you can see, there's just hundreds of teeny tiny bubbles, and this resin is really warm right now. It's been sitting now, gosh, probably 20 minutes. I have used my heat gun. I have spritzed a bit of alcohol in it. I've done this, all the stuff that you normally do to get your tiny bubbles out of there, and I just flat out cannot get them out. So, not really sure how I feel about that, but we are going to continue anyway, okay? So, here is the resin that we did last night. and it is cured halfway in. So what I'm going to do is I am going to dunk my little baby dragon into this resin and put him in, okay? And I'm really hoping my idea works. So I'm going to continue to have this cure on its side. Then when that cures, when he's in there and he cures in the position I want him, then to finish off this side over here, I can go ahead and just stand it up and finish it off. And it seems like there's a lot of steps, but really just, it's easy. It's just, well, I hope it's easy. We'll see how it turns out. But really, it's just waiting for each layer to cure is the part that takes a while. So, but because he's got some little nicks and crannies in here, I'm going to put him in the resin before I stick him in there. And by the way, I did not have to glue him. I did just sit and pinch him together for, gosh, maybe only about 30 seconds, and he's together. So the resin, even though it was cured to the point where it felt hard and it was ready to come out, after a day, it's been about 24 hours, I think, since I've made him. So it was still not too long to where I could stick them together and have him basically be one whole dragon stuck together with his own resin, if that makes any sense. But anyway, as you watch my videos, you'll see me probably doing that often. So, okay, so I'm going to dunk him in here. Really disappointed about all my air bubbles, but you know, just the way things go, I guess. As long as he's still cute when it comes to, you know, the right time to take him out of there. I don't want it just to be just, you know, too much bubbles, but let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to put him in here just on hold for a second while I get this set up. I'm going to pour a little bit down here in the bottom. Let's see. How much did I put in there? Okay, just almost enough to come up to the outer rim here. I don't know if you can see that. Just about to the rim. And I don't want it full because I want there to be room for him. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prop this side up, take this is an almost full bottle of black alcohol ink, but I'm going to stick it here to kind of prop it up a bit. I'm going to attempt to blow this with the heat gun, see if that helps at all. And hope that some of them just kind of work their way out. Okay. So I'm going to take my little dragon and he's going to go in head first. Because that's how we want him to be. He's going to be sitting this way. So right now, he is in there like I want him to be, but I'll tell you, it's a lot easier to move him around this way than it was before. Okay, everybody, so I took you off of my stand here to show you basically what I've done. So you see the part in there where it was about halfway full of the cured resin. And then what ended up being the easiest is literally just laying him in there on his side with a bit of resin, okay? I dunked him in the resin, and then he's sitting there in a little bit, maybe, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch, if that, of more resin, so that he can at least cure in place. He's sitting about that far from the edge, because I figure I'll probably put some little bit of a base in there, black or some little pebbles or something, but he's just kind of chilling in there. He's doing okay. So I'm hopeful that this will work. This actually still gives room there at the top for filling in the resin. He's not touching the top. I don't know how much room, it's hard to tell how much room is actually up in there, but
But yeah, it looks like he's centered okay anyway, so we'll see what happens. The next step, we will probably just fill this maybe the rest of the way up with resin. I don't know. This, if I'm still using Better Boat, I definitely have to do that one in small layers. That's not, definitely not a deep pour resin. So anyway, just thought I would let you see what I finally decided to do with that. And this is a lot easier than what I was trying to do with propping it all up. So anyway, okay, I'll be back when I'm ready for the next step.
Okay, this is pretty much pretty firm in there. It's not like rock hard, but it's firm enough to hold the dragon where it's supposed to be. I've mixed up some more resin. So now I'm going to pour, I'll look on this side here. Actually, first, I'm going to spray just a little bit of alcohol in there, since I can't reach in there with my anything really, to pop the bubbles. I'm going to look at over about this way to see about how much I want to put in. Like I said before, this is not a deep pour resin, so I'm going to have to be a little careful, probably how high up I go. But I'm really excited, hoping that this turns out, and that this will be an answer to, gosh, all the problems of having to try to pour these dragon eggs. So let's see, I've left a bit of room. I've poured it about this far. You see the line here? With this Better Boat, because like I said before, it is not a deep pour resin. So I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, and then I'll come back here in a couple hours and then we'll fill it. We'll continue to fill it up. Okay, I'll see you in a while. Hello everyone. Okay, we're back to finish off of our little baby dragon here in the egg. Everything's nice and hard. Hopefully not too hard. I've mixed up some resin and I'm going to pour it in something a little smaller here to make it a little easier to use. And I think this will, there's about that much left here to go up to the top. I'm going to pour it almost full, not quite. One thing I did kind of forget to do that I wanted to do was spray a little spray of alcohol in there, just to kind of help with any bubbles. This is that Better Boat that does tend to bubble a little bit more. Oops. There we go. You don't want to put too much or else it makes it kind of swirly inside. And I might have some connecting lines when this all cures together. But yeah, I'm going to kind of pour it a little slow. And hopefully that this isn't going to be too deep for this resin. I'm going to go almost to the top, but not quite, because I want to put some kind of a little layer of something right there. This last little 1/4 of an inch or so. Okay, there's just a tad bit of his tail sticking out. Can you see? It's gone all the way to the top almost, with about that little lip remaining, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna give it a second, blow it just real quick with my heat gun, and then I'll probably come back in like maybe an hour or so and add my bottom layer. I've got to figure out what I want him to sit on in there, so okay, I'll be back. We are ready to finish off the top of our dragon egg. I can see a line here through the egg where this might be where I laid it to get our first line, to get our first flat spot there. I'll be anxious to demold this and see how just obvious that is. It may have been that I left it a little too long before I poured the second time. Or I do see a lot of air bubbles in there. So we'll just have to see what happens when it's time to take this out. But until then, I am going to pour just a bit of resin into here. Just looking for my little cup to there. And I want to have him sitting on a base, and I don't know if I want it to be sand or, yeah, I'm not going to need very much. Probably not even that much, maybe. I just poured just a little bit in the bottom of this little cup here. Just a bit to cover that little, about 1/8 of an inch. So maybe what I'll do is I'll have him sit on, how about he sits on some gold flakes, some gold foiled flakes. We'll see what that does. Give him a little brightness in his day. These things go everywhere. Get in there. Oh, okay, I think that's plenty. Probably more than enough. Let's just stir it up real quick. I'm not real sure how this is going to turn out, but I do want him having something to sit on in there for the base. And it's not very big because this was pretty shallow. Just even with the top. I've got a little much in there. There we go. I'm going to top this off with some alcohol. There we go. And let this kind of sit for a second. Or not for a second, but until it's time to demold it tomorrow. So anyway, wish us luck. I'm a little nervous about this part, really, here, but we won't know until we get it out of there, right? And the bubbles too. But I'm excited to see how this turned out compared to the last one I did. So, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. Hello everybody, we're back to demold our baby dragon egg. See how it goes today. I'm hoping that we get a pretty good result. This has been fun, kind of trying to see how the difference would be between this one and the other way that I tried, which was just standing the egg up and filling it with resin, and that did not work very well. My dragon kind of slid all over the place, but looks like I got a little bit of an overage here of my resin, but that's okay. Let's get it around there. It's all nice and cured now. Might have to put a little something in here to get that out, or maybe not. Oh, it's coming out okay. Fold it down. Let's see. Come on out of there. Okay. I might have to put a little alcohol or something in here. It's pretty tight fit. Comes out a little easier with some kind of. Okay, well, there he is. It turned out a lot better than the last one that I tried to dry off some of the alcohol that I sprayed on here. Did you have those bubbles? So yeah, I would have to probably do something about that, but I'm happy with the way he's standing up. So here's the last one that I did. Well, it was the first one that I did. And you can see where I had problems. Okay, this is the first one I did, doing it with the egg just standing up. Okay, and so I had the worst time getting him to stand up straight in here, and so he kept plopping over. And now he's face first into the thing, and then I had problems here. I don't know. I had all kinds of problems with this first one that I tried. Did not turn out well. So, that being said, this second one, the way he's standing up in there is perfect. He's perfect the way that I wanted him in there. His colors show well. The only difference would be the clarity. There's a lot of bubbles in this one. Can you see the difference? I know there's kind of a glare there. There's a difference between them. Okay, but I find that this I would call a success minus the bubbles. He's pretty good all the way around. There's more bubbles on this side. And so I'm gonna give this another try and probably just really make sure that my resin is warmer this time to have, you know, start out with less bubbles. And that's the problem with these kind of molds, is that if it goes in with bubbles, it's probably going to come out with bubbles because it's really hard to get them out unless you've got a pressure pot or something, which I do not yet. But anyway, here he is. And I think that our method of laying the dragon egg down and just putting a little resin in there first worked. Let me know what you guys think. Have a good night. See you next time.